Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. We had another Sabbath. It's 27th of November 2021. Uh, the title for the lesson today is Time to Prepare. So we're going to be dealing with that, looking back at what our forefathers did in Egypt at the time of preparation and when they did in Babylon. So I'm asking everybody to like, share, subscribe to the Prophets of Awakening channel, and hit the notification button. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Old Testament, which is the Tanakh, and then we deal with the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai by Michael L., the Lord of Hosts, the strong one that's over Israel. So I want to say shalom and welcome everyone on the Sabbath class. We're going to go into our moment of silence, prayer, songs, and current events. Okay, this moment of silence is for our Creator and His Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, and all that they are doing right now to bring about our captivity, and to bring us home to our homeland. Oh Lord, we come thanking you for your great mercy and for your great power and wisdom. And we tarry, waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers. You, oh Lord, has directed us who you are and what your role is in the goings on of heaven and earth. We come to Sabbath day, doubtless that you will appear and that you will gather your nation as it was given unto you from among these wicked Gentiles. Oh Lord, you spoke through your prophet Isaiah and said that you would help Abraham's seed. You have completed that promise. You have completed that promise. You said, oh Lord, that you would remove the darkness from around us. Tarry not, O Lord, for the latter days are here, when we are waiting and watching for you. Peace be unto you. Okay? I'm going to read the Psalms. Okay? I'm going to read Psalms 87. It's the glories of Zion. It's a song by Korah, one of David's musicians. His foundation is the holy mountains. The Lord loveth the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. Glorious things are spoken of thee, O city of God. Selah, I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon to them that know me. Behold, Philistia and Tyre and Ethiopia, this man was born there. And of Zion it shall be said, this and that man was born in her, and the highest himself shall establish her. The Lord shall count when he writeth up the people that this man was born there. Selah. As well the singers or the players on instruments shall be there. All my springs are in thee. So that's Psalms 87. It's the glories of Zion. Any comments? Okay, so
Hey, Leonard, I don't have a comment. I have a question. In verse 4, what is Rahab? I know there was a Rahab the harlot that helped the spies.
yeah, that's a city called Rahab.
There's a city called Rahab as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, let me look at it real quick. It says Psalms 87, 4, and 1. Egypt. It says Egypt. But I know it's a city called Rahab. If you want to Google it, but it says, I will make mention of, it said Rahab got a one by and over in the middle on this study Bible. It says Egypt. It's another name for Egypt. So it makes sense because it says, I will make mention of Rahab, Rahab, whatever that word is, and Babylon. To them that knoweth me, yo, Philistine and Tyre and Ethiopia, this man was born there. So it says that it's Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I know it's a city, and I know it's a city that was in Canaan called Rahab. Rahab
Mm-hmm.
too. Yeah. I'm gonna look that up when I get off the line. Okay. Anybody got any current events? Yeah, so I got a few current events. It's just need to know information because, like I said, the title of this Sabbath class is Prepare. So we're gonna look at it and see if it's time to prepare. Uh, okay, the first one is, let me get it. So look at some parallels of what's going on now and what happened in Babylon and what happened in Egypt. It says right here. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
It says scientists should sound the alarm over the new worst ever super mutant jab. Okay, it says scientists have sounded the alarm over. Says scientists have sounded the alarm over a new worst ever super mutant COVID variant that will make vaccines at least 40% less effective. As Australia said, it will monitor its progress very carefully. Expert explained earlier how this B11529 variant has more than 30 mutations, most ever recorded in a variant, and twice as many as Delta. That suggests it could be more jab resistant and transmissible than any of the versions before it. So they're saying this thing here, the rest of them ain't got nothing on it. It's the mother of all jabs. Okay? We know what the other ones did. Okay? There's another one. We know what happened in New York. So this is what the governor of New York said over the uh, last few hours. Right here, it's coming. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, whatever her name, issues a uh, Omicron warning, declaring a state of emergency. So it ain't even really got there yet, but she declaring a state of emergency. New York Governor Kathy Council has declared a state of emergency over Omicron variant of jab, stating it's coming. The variant is believed to be possibly more contagious and immune resistant than previous jabs. We have taken extraordinary actions to prevent the spread of this jab and combat this pandemic. Hochul wrote in a statement, while a new Omicron variant has yet to be detected in New York State, is coming. Okay, so what they're expecting out of this. And we already know, like I said, the havoc that the previous situation already caused. And we know what state America's in right now. It's not ready for nothing like this. Okay, so I'll show you this other one. And notice too how they focuses on Africa too. So can you see that? Excuse me.
Yes.
Said dozens of flights from South Africa infected with COVID. That's set up right there. So it's already showing you right here. Said dozens of flights from South Africa already detected. So let me read. So when this thing hit and start wreaking havoc, the spotlight gonna be on South Africa. It says, as the world waits to find out how dangerous the super mutated jab variant Omicron might be, Dutch authorities revealed that 61 people, see that, arriving on 2 flights from South Africa, where the strain has been spreading, have tested positive. It is now whether it is not it's not know whether we do not know whether the passengers were infected with Omicron or earlier versions of the jab, but discovery underscores the possibility that the new variant has already gone global. So I'm saying it's already global, but coming out of Africa. Okay. So any comments so far? Any suggestions?
If they know 61 people was infected with the Omicron virus, how was they allowed to board a flight to leave South Africa?
Yeah, that's just the point. They got, they so slick with it, they know how to, do that. Just like they did with the planes. They crashed into the World Trade Center. The little small details they don't even bother with because there's nobody can really answer that. Like people said, they know that those were the planes wasn't they wasn't real. They was images. Like they call projections. But that's something that nobody can prove. They got put that over people's head.
And if they expect it to be global, then it's global already.
Yeah. They saying as if they're not quite sure, but they already know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lady from New York, she already telling you what's going to happen. She already got a state of emergency. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that something? So yeah. So here we go. We got a couple more. Let me get this. This
around the world. The WHO labeling the newly named Omicron variant a variant of concern, first detected in South Africa and quickly spreading. President Biden ordering a travel ban effective Monday for foreign nationals from South Africa and 7 other countries on the continent. Canada, the UK, and EU are issuing similar bans. The president warns there's a lot we still don't know about the variant, which seems to spread rapidly. Scientists warn this new variant could be more transmissible than the Delta strain. It contains a large number of mutations. Dr. Anthony Fauci says it's too soon to tell if it can evade current vaccines. Here in the U.S., health officials on high alert for the new variant. Delta currently makes up nearly all new cases. At least 35 states report an increase in infections, hospitalizations on the rise for 3 weeks in a row. Today, President Biden saying the pandemic will not end until we have global vaccinations. ABC's Trevor Ault leads us off tonight.
Tonight, health officials around the world sounding the alarm about a rapidly spreading new variant first identified in South Africa, B11529, now known as Omicron. World Health Organization labeling it a variant of concern.
This variant has a large number of mutations, and some of these mutations have some worrying characteristics.
Today, the Biden administration joining more than a dozen other countries moving swiftly to restrict flights from southern Africa.
We don't know a lot about the variant except that it is a great concern. It seems to spread rapidly.
Early evidence suggests Omicron may pose a higher risk for reinfection. Scientists fear it could be more transmissible than the Delta variant. Vaccines could be less effective against it. Though experts like Dr. Anthony Fauci caution it's too early to know for sure.
But right now you're talking about sort of like a red flag that this might be an issue, but we don't know. Once you test it, you'll know for sure whether or not it does or does not evade the antibodies that we make, for example, against the virus through a vaccine.
Omicron cases have also been detected in Botswana, Israel, Hong Kong, and now Belgium, where an unvaccinated woman with no connection to South Africa tested positive after returning from Egypt. Now officials in Europe, where some countries had already reinstituted restrictions and even lockdowns from a Delta variant surge, are worried Omicron could be even more damaging.
We are concerned that this new variant may pose substantial risk to public health.
Right now, there's no evidence the Omicron variant is in the U.S., but experts believe it's likely just a matter of time.
You were on 2 airplanes?
Yes! And even after the return of a more traditional Thanksgiving, with millions of families reuniting, America is also seeing troubling signs of a potentially looming winter surge. 35 states and Washington, D.C. reporting cases up at least 10% in the past 2 weeks. And now military teams fanning out to hospitals from Minnesota to Colorado as reinforcements for exhausted healthcare workers.
And everybody who's here working are so tired and frankly very broken individuals, and we don't have a lot left to give.
Healthcare workers just running out of steam. Trevor Ault joins us now. Trevor, there are still so many questions about this new variant, how transmissible it is, if it's more deadly. When can we expect to get those answers?
Well, Lindsay, the World Health Organization says there's already several studies underway in the field right now, and those will take days or weeks to complete. Typically, they can figure out transmissibility fairly quickly as a variant spreads. And Lindsay, we should also mention Moderna says they're already working on possible tweaks to their vaccine, just in case. Lindsay?
Okay, so any comments on that? Notice how that it never was really in Africa. Now all of a sudden it's in Africa. The other ones wasn't. The other ones didn't really touch Africa. Now all of a sudden, Black Friday, perhaps Thanksgiving.
Shalom.
Okay.
In this new variant, it's very unusual. The constellation of the mutations,
right,
and the antibodies, the effectiveness of the antibodies produced by the COVID-19 vaccines are going to be compromised with this new strand. So
right.
I just see it as the Lord of hosts turning up the heat. They're creating their own destruction.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Right.
Shalom.
Okay.
New York is one of the cities that, one of the states, that has a high rate of Africans that live there. Their population there is over 2 million. So I think, again, it's part of the pandemic that they have going on. And also in Africa, Moderna is building a COVID vaccine plant there. I just think it's all a trickle effect and part of the plan. They also know that a lot of people are moving to leaving America, going to Africa.
Right.
But I think that once they finish planning all of this, they're gonna fall. I mean, they're trying to, I think, stop a lot of things that they cannot stop because they know we are leaving here.
Right.
But you can just see what's going on. The Lord of hosts is all up in this, and he's going to take care of us. We just have to hold on. It's part of the pandemic. Yes.
Right.
Shalom.
Go ahead.
Their plan always backfires.
Yes.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, like I was saying, notice it ain't in West Africa. It's in the South Africa. We got 7 states, 7 countries in South Africa. It ain't nothing happening. There ain't
right.
Ain't nothing over in Ghana, because that's where, they're the ones behind all that build up over there, which is Most High behind it, but they, He using them and they ignorance. But it ain't nothing happening over there. And on the map, they were showing how, if you compare the map that's dealing with the Road and Belt Initiative, that's where it's at. So all they conspiring for one thing, but Most High gonna do something else with it. Yeah. So with that being said, I got this right here. So this right here is just to add another twist to the game. I don't know if anybody heard this.
Out a few trends, developments that could shape our pandemic strategy in the days to come. And one of them is increasingly becoming a challenge for India. It's called black fungus or mucormycosis. It's a rare and deadly fungal infection. It is being reported in several states in India, mostly in post-COVID patients, people who have survived the virus but now face a new
people that took the jab.
Battle. Doctors say there is nothing to panic about, but there are a lot of questions that are floating. What exactly is this infection? What's causing it? How many cases are being reported? Where are they being reported? And most importantly, is black fungus life-threatening? Our next report has some answers.
Sinonasal, orbital, and rhinocerebral. These are three types of mucormycosis or black fungus. Their cases are currently on the rise in India. All three types are equally dangerous. But what exactly is this infection? The Center for Disease Control and Prevention defines black fungus as a serious but rare fungal infection caused by a group of molds which live freely in the environment, particularly in soil, wet surfaces, and decaying organic matter. People get infected when they come in contact with these fungal molds. For example, the lung or sinus forms of black fungus occur after someone breathes in the spores. In pre-COVID times, this infection was quite rare around the world, but since the pandemic, cases have increased due to complications related to the virus. In India, only a few cases were reported in New Delhi last year, but now the new virus mutant is driving a surge in black fungus infections across the country. Cases are being reported at hospitals in New Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Who is getting infected or is likely to be infected? According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, 4 kinds of people. Those who used steroids during their COVID-19 treatment, thus lowering their immunity. Those who had prolonged stays at hospital ICUs and are yet to recover. Those with diabetes or a history of kidney and heart failure. And those who are on medication for major health problems that reduce.
Okay. You come in, so it's something else. It's an offshoot. Black fungus, and just rotting people. Their nose is rotting off and all that. And come in.
Shalom. I was reading about this, and one patient even had to have her eye removed because it usually affects your nose, your eyes, and sometimes even your brain. And it's found in like soil, plants, and manure, and decaying fruits and vegetables. Those are creations, just natural creations.
Right. It wasn't like the guy was saying. It wasn't happening before the jab. So it's something it's done to the body's system of defense. It broke it down or something because now all of a sudden these things are taking hold of people because of this defense system being broken down.
Shalom. I also see it, Brother Leonard, as the Lord of Hosts playing a role.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
As far as the soil, that their soil, our enemy's soil, he's doing something to it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like I was saying before, they doing one thing and not understanding that he was doing something else besides that. But when they make a move, then he come back and make another move. Like so you go back and look at the 10 plagues, same thing was happening. You know, they worship the Nile River. They worship the Nile River, and then all of a sudden he put blood in the Nile River. Turned the Nile River to blood.
Right.
So it's like these are counters. Yeah. So like if nobody ever really did it, you know, you might want to do some research on that. It's called they got a scientific name for it, but it's black fungus. So and they go this way. We talked about this guy. I brought this guy up a couple of times, but I wanted you to check out what he's saying based on what we know about what prophecy and all that. He's talking about. Let's look at
Africa and Shalom in the name of our Messiah Yeshua. My name is Rabbi Yitzchak Shapiro. And over the last 2 years, together with our URI program, Higher Life Foundation, we have been taking a wonderful journey together to understanding the Jewishness of our Messiah Yeshua. Well, did you know that this Sunday, on the Jewish calendar, the same calendar that Yeshua has observed, we're entering into the festival of Hanukkah, or dedication. Now, this year, we're supposed...
Yeah, I told you about Hanukkah. I told you those Maccabees and all them was Edomites. And that's why you get the 9 branch candlestick, which is an abomination. So
supposed to be in Zimbabwe on the ground for an historic moment where 25 menorahs, or in Hebrew, Chanukias, lit every day. An historic moment where Zimbabwe broadcast the light of Messiah to the world.
Zimbabwe is one of the countries they just mentioned, but it's really jab it.
But as you can watch, been watching surely the news, some event took place that prohibit us at this moment from coming to Zimbabwe. We've been praying about this, and we decided that we won't give up. In the book of Mark chapter 2, we read about the man who had been ill and was unable to come near Yeshua. Well, they made a hole in the roof to bring him to the Messiah. And this is exactly what we're going to do. We will not let the COVID-19 virus stop the highway building all the way from Africa to Jerusalem. So I would like to invite you every night at 6:30 CAT for an historic and prophetic virtual meeting. We will be in the United States, and the team in Zimbabwe will be on the ground, lighting the menorah, broadcasting the light of Messiah from Africa to the world. We would like to invite you, especially if you're in Africa, for this historic moment, this historic time, as we're making a home in the heavens and call upon the light of the world, Yeshua, our Hanukkah. Please go to the link below and sign up. Make sure that you're a part of this historic moment. You are getting ready and awaiting the light of the world return. Yeshua, our Messiah.
Okay. In comments. Anybody mind get jarred? Okay. Yeah, so we see right here, they said these Edomites and all you see going on is all tied together. And he's talking about they're gonna put they're not gonna let this variant stop them. So just like when they lowered the man down in Mark, when they lowered him down through the top of the roof, your house shot to see him, cesarean, lower him down enough for him to see him the same way. They're gonna do this. They ain't gonna let the thing stop him. But they're gonna, through technology, they're gonna put a hole in the firmament, and they still gonna allow it to happen. But the thing about it is, like I said, they're gonna light 25 of those candles with a 9-branch thing on them. We know that's an abomination. So all that stuff tied together. It's just a matter of watching it play out. Right. Okay. Nobody have no questions, and then I'm gonna open it up for Q&A before I go into the lesson. Anybody have any questions, comments, anything they want to talk about, anything before we go into this time to prepare? Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay, yeah. So I said I was on my mind last night, so I was looking at some things in previous captivities, the one in Egypt, especially in Babylon, and now that we here, this generation, we able to look back because we're looking at things that's happening now. We're in a captivity now, and so I'm gonna start out with I showed you some of the stuff that's happening where we are right now today, but so I'm gonna go to let's see, that was it. Exodus. See if I got it right. Okay. Okay, it's Exodus chapter 11. I'm reading verses chapter 11, verses 1 to 3. And what we was told from Genesis about this last captivity was that we was going to do 400 years in this captivity, and that we was going to come out with great substance. So based on that, I'm looking at chapter 11 of Exodus, and it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, yet will I bring one plague more upon the Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards, he will let you go. He will let you go hence. When ye shall let you go, ye shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, and in the sight of the Pharaoh servants, and in the sight of the people. So, like I was saying before, he says, the Lord said to Moses, yet will I bring one plague more. He already got them at their knees. They're already in a pickle. But he said, I'm going to bring this one more plague and shut it down. And we see what's going on right here. So then I'm going to go to 4 through 10. It says, and Moses said, thus says the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. So he prophesied to him, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservants that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of the beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall there be any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know that the Lord doeth put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel. So we over here, Israelites. There's a difference in the Israelites and the regular people, Americans, and the habits of the land. We're different. So 8, and all these thy servants shall come down unto me and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee. And after that I will go out. And I went out from Pharaoh in great anger. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before the Pharaoh, and the Lord hearkened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land. Yeah, you see the same things happening now. They're doing everything under the sun except let us go. They can't correlate that all the stuff that's happening is happening for a reason, and that they know we owed reparations for all that they done to us, but they want to give the Mexican $450,000, and they trying to figure out all kind of ways to reprimand everybody else but us. When all the drama that's coming on the place is coming on because of we here, but they won't want to address that. So chapter 12 says 29. So he told them right there that he was going to kill the firstborn in Egypt. So here we go right here. 12 and 29 says it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on the throne to the firstborn of the captives that were in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the captives. And the Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all the servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. Read that again. Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, and there was not a house where there was not one dead. Okay. 31. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, Rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go, serve the Lord, as you have said. Also take your flocks and your herds, as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people. Yeah, the Egyptians were urgent. They hurried up trying to get them out upon the people, that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, We be all dead. We be all dead, men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up on their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of Egyptians jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. Okay, so see that. And 37 says, this is when the Israelites left. It says, and the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses and sackcloth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men beside the children, and a mixed multitude went out with them, and the flocks and the herds even much, and they baked unleavened cakes of dough which they brought out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thirsty. They were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victuals. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt for 430 years, and it came to pass at the end of 430 years, in the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. And it is a night to be observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in that congregation. Okay. So like I was showing you right here, he killed the firstborn. He prophesied that he was going to kill the firstborn. He came in the middle of the night and killed him. So that was the Egyptians. And so now I'm in 13. And he's dealing with the firstborn of the Israelites. And the Lord spake unto Moses, we're going somewhere. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the mouth, the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which he came out of Egypt. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Out of the house of bondage. For by strength of the hand of the Lord brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. This day came ye out in the month of Abib, and it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of Canaan, and unto the Hittites, and to the Amorites, and to the Hivites and the Jebusites, which he swore unto thy fathers to give thee, a land flowing with milk and honey, that thou shalt keep this service in this month. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and in the seventh day shall the feast of the Lord be the feast of the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with thee, neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in the portals. And thou shalt show, verse 8, I'm going to shine light on this. It says, and thou shalt show thy son, see that? And thou shalt show thy son in that day, saying, this is done because that which the Lord did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. And it shall be for a sign unto thee upon thy hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that the Lord's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand hath the Lord brought thee out of Egypt. So what we're looking at right now is a strong hand. Keep that in mind. So chapter 14. I'm going to read this, and I'll be through with Egypt. We're going to go to Babylon. So chapter 14 says, starting at verse 1 says, this is the instructions he gave the Israelites when he brought them out. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel that they turn and encamp before Pishharoth, between Migdal and the sea, and against Baal Zephon, before ye encamp by the sea. And Pharaoh will say to the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land. The wilderness have shut them in, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them, and I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all the hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord, and that ye and they did so. So what we're looking at right here is we waiting to be delivered right out of here, but look what the Pharaoh did. Look what happened right here. He says nothing new under the sun. He says 3. For the Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, and the wilderness has shut them in, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he will follow after them. So you see what they're doing here. They don't want us to go. They know what's going to happen when we leave. This place going to go to the dogs. So they come in after we leave. When we leave, ain't going to be the end of it. You see what happened in Ezekiel 38? It says, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them, and I will be honored upon the Pharaoh and upon all his host, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and that the heart of the Pharaoh and his servants were turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we let Israel go from serving us? And he made ready his chariots and took his people with him. And he took 600 chariots, chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and the captain over every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with a high hand, but the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and the horses, chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea beside Pishharoth and Baal Zephon. And when the Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. See that? So we see, let's go here to Ezekiel right quick. I'm just trying to shine a light on just so you can get ready. So I'm in Ezekiel right quick. So we get delivered from this place. We see it already manifesting itself. And look at this. Okay. I'm in 38. So we was delivered out of this place. And we ended up dwelling safely on the Isles over on the West Coast. And it says right here, uh, after many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter days thou shalt come into the land that is brought back by the, from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely on all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. See that? Not no different than what the Pharaoh did. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, and all of thy bands and many people with thee. Thus says the Lord. It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall these things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil, and to take a prey, and to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, and dwell in the midst of the land. So see that right there. When they left Egypt, they left. He told them, go, take your flocks and your herds. Right here. We done left, we done departed from America. We back, we got our flocks and our herds. But here they come. Same thing. And nothing new under the sun. So, like I said, the Egyptians pursued after them, just like they gonna pursue after us when we leave here. So now I'm in Babylon. I'm in Jeremiah 29. Any comments on this Egyptian thing?
Shalom.
Okay.
In Exodus 12,
Right.
think it's 39, where
Okay.
it says they were thrusted out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual.
Right.
Thrust means they were forced out,
Right.
and then victual is food.
Right.
So it seems like they didn't even have time to prepare for anything.
Right. It came on them so fast.
Right.
Right. And when you're looking at that, you can also see that they was already in a mindset where they had been there so long that they was waiting, but they didn't know it was gonna come like it did.
Right.
And then it
And
came on, like I said, all of a sudden Moses showed up, and then one thing after led to another.
right. It was quickly, it was fast.
Right. We're in the same predicament now. Because like I said, they first of all, they thinking that the events in Revelation, all they gotta happen. But our deliverance is on us.
Yes.
So yeah.
Hey, Leonard.
Okay.
I was reading in the book of the Apocalypse of Abraham.
Okay.
The Lord had taken Abraham up into the heavens, and he was looking down. He was showing him many things, but
Okay.
one thing that he showed him are the 10 plagues of the latter days. And the first three that I can remember are that the Gentiles would be in distress. The second would be fires, and the third would be pestilence. So I just thought, listening to what you are conveying today, that I could see some of those 10 plagues unfolding here today. And this is a prophecies that for us in this latter days that
Right.
the Lord of hosts was showing to Abraham.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah,
And,
he also, go ahead.
and one thing I know, he also showed him that his seed will be worshiping a man in those latter days.
Right, exactly. Right, and and like I was saying before, they he told them about those plagues, that it was going to be new plagues,
Right.
new diseases that he didn't even have in Egypt, and that's, we're looking at these new diseases that they're bringing on the scene.
Right. And the book is very comparable to the Tanakh, and a lot of the testimonies
Right.
are equal. So I just thought I would share that.
Yeah. So, what that was in the Apocalypse of Abraham?
Yeah, the Apocalypse of Abraham. And those 10 plagues is around chapter 30 and 31.
Okay.
It's 32 chapters in there, but it was around 30, 31 where the 10 plagues are listed.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so like I was saying before, the people that when they was in Egypt, Joseph had already told them that the law was coming. So we understand now from the scriptures that he coming to get us. So it says he had promised us. Not only he promised Abraham, he promised Isaac and Jacob, he promised David, all of them that what he was gonna do. So I'm gonna read this right here out of Jeremiah 29, starting at verse 10. It says, "For thus said the Lord, that after 70 years uh, be accomplished, at Babylon I will visit you and perform my good words toward you and causing you to return to this place." So we see right here, he promised them in Egypt, and he came and showed up. We see right here, he told them they was going for 7 years in Babylon, and he showed up after the 7 years. It's like he said. Verse 11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." So his thoughts toward us ain't changed. We're in captivity now, so you apply this verse right here. "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, said the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you expected end. So then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you, and ye shall seek me and find me when ye search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, said the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, said the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place which I caused you to be carried away captive. So we read this verse all the time, so we know where they got us from. So he says that just like he did in Babylon, just like he did in Egypt, it's gonna come a time that people that sigh, cry, and tremble at his word is gonna start seeking him and find him, and then he's gonna come and get us, take us back where he got us from, and start the story, pick the story back up where we left off here. It's new under the sun, nothing new under the sun. So I'm gonna read 31, chapter 31. This is the restoration of Israel. We're just gonna, just let it sink in. He says, "At the same time, said the Lord, will I be a God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus said the Lord, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause them to rest." That's what we waiting on. "The Lord hath appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love, therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee." See that? So you're not coming into the knowledge of the Most High on a whim. He says, "The Lord have appeared of old times unto me, saying, I have loved thee with an everlasting love, therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee." See that? "Again will I build thee, and thou shalt be built, O Virgin of Israel. Thou shalt again be adorned with the tablets, and shalt go forth in dances of them that make merry. Thou shalt yet plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria, The planter shall plant and shall eat them as common things. But there shall be a day that the watchman upon the Mount Ephraim shall cry, Arise ye, and let us go up to Zion unto the Lord our God. For thus saith the Lord, Sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Lord, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the women with the child and her that travaileth with child together, a great company shall return thither. Thou shalt come with weeping and with supplication will I lead them, and I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, that's the Gentiles, he that scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him as a shepherd doeth his flock. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. Therefore they shall come and sing in the heights of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of the Lord, for wheat, for wine, and for oil, and for young of the flock, and for the herd, and their souls shall be as watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Then shall the virgin rejoice and dance, both young men and old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy, and I will comfort them and make them rejoice from their sorrow, and I will saturate the soul of the priest with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, says the Lord. Thus says the Lord, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentations and bitter weeping. Rachel weeping for her children refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. Thus says the Lord, refrain from voice from weeping and thine eyes from tears, for the work shall be rewarded, says the Lord. And they shall come again from the land of the enemy, right? And there is hope in thine end, says the Lord, that thy children shall come again to their own borders. Okay, so I mean, I believe that based on everything else the Most High done. So, okay, put this on there. Say, Brother Andre, I was reading that a couple of days ago, and had that same thought. Okay, you got that, Andre?
Yeah, yes, I'm reading that. Okay.
Okay. So we see both in Babylon captivity and Egyptian captivity, and based on what we sitting here now, we that generation, we're able to see what's happening now and correlated to what happened in Babylon and Egypt. And the same thing is manifesting itself. So it's nothing to be uptight about it. What needs to be done is to be start preparing yourself. Like I said, uh, we see where Sister Cynthia just said that they left in haste and they didn't have no victuals because so you ain't gonna so much stuff that you ain't gonna need. And now's the time to start trying to sort that out in your mind because it's going down. If you understand what happened in 2020, and these people just not told you that it's another jab coming, and it's way worse than the first one, you gotta know it's hammer time. It's right around the corner. The Most High deal with signs and wonders. He deal with the sun, the moon. We done had a astrological event just passed with this moon, and so we see what's going on. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that
that's
is great. Any comments?
yes, that's encouraging. Both of that, what you and Cynthia, Sister Cynthia was just mentioning. Like you're saying, we can prepare and we're prepared. But either way, he's gonna make sure that he's waking us up for a reason. He's not gonna wake us up to, he's got it all planned out. So that's encouraging that, they had no idea. They didn't know how it was gonna happen.
Right.
And like you said, they didn't even have all the preparations that, we've had time for. Because we probably, we don't need what we think we're gonna need.
Right.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
Shalom.
Yeah.
In Jeremiah 29, I think it was 13, and we've
Okay.
been reading this over and over, to search for him with all our heart. And that's so huge to me because it's nothing we can do. He put that in our spirit to
Right.
search for him with our own heart. And
Right.
if he puts that in our spirit to search for him, then it's time for us to start crying out to him. And it's time for us to prepare, no doubt, but
Right.
prepare our minds and our
Right.
spirits. Get more connected with him. That's what I see as far as preparation.
Right. Exactly. Right. It goes back to that, like I said, to the those that tremble at his word. The same thing. It's the same thing. It's a difference when you get on your knees and pray with all your heart, then you just get on there and pray. It's a big difference.
Yes, yes,
So that's what you see happening, and it's those people that, just like he did with Cyrus. He said those people in spirit he raised their spirit for a reason, and that's where we at. Yeah.
and show gratitude for that.
Right.
We should be so grateful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That's
Hey,
right.
Lena.
What you got?
Hey, he's putting this cup of trembling. He's putting it on the Gentiles. That fear.
Oh yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's a beautiful thing to see them tremble in fear because we have nothing to fear but him.
Right.
Even though we walking through the valley of the shadow of death, he told us not to fear.
Exactly.
But it's beautiful to see them fear with their kingdom falling.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it tricked us off here. We are supernatural people. The heaven is supernatural, and that's what we had been dealing with. But since we've been over in this captivity, and these Gentiles, they are common folk, and they think so. They've been operating as if ain't no supernatural, and that he ain't ain't no God coming. That's the way that's the way they operating, and that's what we had locked in on that. But now is that ain't happening no more. The Most High is bringing us back to our connection with Him, which is supernatural. These angels come from another dimension. The Most High and all them, they come from another dimension. We've been, and you got a lot of Israelites still caught up in that. You know, they saying one thing, but they still thinking and operating and using their reasoning the way the Gentile do. And that ain't gonna get us nowhere. Yeah.
Yes, what Lamar mentioned, that is the first plague that the Lord showed unto Abraham, is the trembling, fear, the distress of this nation and other Gentile nations. Yes.
Right. Oh yeah, you definitely can see it. You can see it and you can feel it because of, just, we definitely not going backwards. We ain't going back to to the things that we didn't encountered over the last 400 years. We ain't going backwards. You can see that's falling off. It's falling. All that stuff is falling to the ground. We're on the rise. Yeah. So with that being said, anybody else got anything else they want to bring up or mention before we uh, exit?
Oh yeah, one more thing.
Okay.
I keep saying this, but it just I'm fantasized by it, man. How you ain't got to go to it, but in Jasher, 80
Right.
and 49, when he was whooping them with that 10th plague, when he was killing their firstborn,
Right.
Moses and Aaron, they was back in Goshen with the Israelites, and they was having a feast.
Right.
They were rejoicing over the heathens dead.
Right.
And, that's a beautiful thing to see this judgment.
Right. Yeah. That was what you just mentioned was what I was showing how that he killed the firstborn in Egypt and the beast, the firstborn of the beast, and then he turned right around and said, sanctify the firstborn in Israel.
Right.
Right. Ain't that something?
Shalom.
Go ahead.
Instead of being afraid at this time, we need to be praising him and thanking him
Right.
for what's going on around us.
Right.
Because we shouldn't be thinking like the heathen and panicking
Right.
like the heathen, because
Exactly.
we know the Lord of hosts is at work. We know our deliverance is at hand, and we should be rejoicing.
Right. Right. Even just on the strength that you are aware of it. He didn't open your eyes to the point that you're aware of it. You ain't gonna
Yes.
rejoice for anything. You can rejoice for that
Yes.
in your home. Yeah, on a daily basis.
Yeah, because that New Testament, it made our men's weak, man. It took
Right.
away our warriors,
Right.
and I believe he's putting that spirit back in his brothers, the sisters and brothers. I mean, he's putting that warrior spirit back in his folks.
Right. Right.
Yeah, even with the ones that are not, that's still kind of the Israelite men that are still believing in the New Testament too. It's a difference between them, even them, and the Christian men. So it is a difference. It is like you're saying, a more um, warrior-like spirit in them. So
Right.
hopefully,
Exactly.
hopefully they'll wake up. Hopefully, I don't know what it's gonna take, but for them to be so entrenched, and some of the people I listen to sometimes, they have until they start talking about the New Testament stuff. I'm with them, but then they still holding on to that, and so it's just, I don't know what it's gonna take for them to see it.
Right.
Shalom.
Okay.
Just as the Lord of hosts is not this weak JC that they want to depict him to be, our men are not weak either. They're warriors.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying about when you go back and look at that. I mean, it ain't nothing that I can strive or whatever. But he said, Moses, and all those men, they was rough around the edges. That was something to be cherished, because he said when you go to the daughters of Zion in Isaiah, he said that because you got all this stuff because of them, but because you're not grateful for it, I'm gonna take them away. I'm gonna take them away. And so when he took them away, that's how we ended up in the predicament we in, because they're not their spirit not on them no more. They just push everything to the side. They don't address stuff and deal with it. Yeah, and nobody deals with that as far as with the angels. You gotta. He says that the Lord of hosts, when he talking, sound like many waters. It's like thunder and lightning. So you gotta think about that when these prophets and all them is conveying and talking to him. They gotta be afraid just cause his countenance. What he talking?
Shalom. The Lord of hosts breathed breath into us. So
Right.
if he breathed that breath into us, we're supposed to be weak, as
No.
great and mighty and powerful as he is.
Right. Exactly. So it ain't nothing to be upset about because brother rough around the edges, you know.
Look, but he is gonna sift out the bootlickers.
Oh yeah, right. Right.
Right,
That's
right,
much needed.
Man,
That's much
Yeah.
needed.
cause man, they
Exactly.
are a poison
right.
to all of us. We'll be here another 400 years messing with
Oh
them
yeah,
niggas.
exactly.
I
Right. You
can't
said
stand
it
them
again,
now.
brother. Yes.
Right. Exactly. So it's all good. We know what the end will be. Like he said, he got an expected end for us. We already know what that is. Okay. So I hope everybody got something out of this. Anybody else have more comments before we go?
Great class.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna hit this line. I'm gonna say shalom. I'm gonna see everybody at 6 o'clock. And we'll pick up from there. Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay.
Shalom, everyone.
All right.
Shalom, shalom.